to the cloud. Cool. Awesome. And we are now recording.
Excellent. And look, people are showing up left and right.
Oh my goodness. Thank God. Thank God. You know, if people didn't show up, this is going to be the end of me as we know it. So thank goodness people showed up. I am saved today.
Clint, I do love that picture.
It's me, man.
I kept trying to like show my kids that one. I'm like, yeah, isn't this awesome? And they're just like,
Who's that dude? And why does he have a bunch of old computers behind him?
Right. What is this, Dad? You're so weird.
That sweater looks dated, Dad. What is up with that?
Oh, shoot.
I want one just like it. That's going to be my pose for next year's Christmas cards.
As my daughter says, more old people.
Only I have a 2000 and something, 2001 Blueberry iMac over here I could use, and I'll put that behind me.
Nice.
Oh, yeah. I love that Mac. That was a good Mac.
Yeah.
I like the original Bondi Blue the best, though.
There was a lot of good ones back then, and then they just keep going downhill.
Everything was better 20 years ago, like especially in my body, but everything else as well.
Yeah, get off my lawn.
I don't have a cane here to shake at anybody at the moment, though.
What happens when you become your parents?
Lawns anymore?
Yeah, I was like, what lawn? HOAs don't allow lawns anymore.
I had a friend who was trying to convince his HOA that the clover should be included as a type of lawn because it's just like so much easier to care for.
Totally.
They were not falling for it, although they did appreciate all the deer that really liked his yard and would roam around the neighborhood.
Don't they know that we're in a drought out here? Come on.
Nah.
AstroTurf.
Yeah.
That's what I'm doing in my backyard. I'm gonna do AstroTurf back there, man. I'm not like, look, I mowed enough lawns from age 10 to age 18 that I never need to mow lawns again.
That's fair. That's fair.
You could just move somewhere where the grass doesn't grow most of the year.
It's also another option.
What about the pet goat approach?
Ooh.
Ooh.
Goats don't like AstroTurf at all.
You can train them though. I'm kidding. That'd be animal cruelty.
They'd probably eat it anyways.
Yeah.
What is that white shit out there?
Yeah, I know.
Whoa. What's going on?
Well, you know, things.
How do you people live like that?
Oh, it's wonderful. We don't have to worry about like getting too hot and sweating. It's okay.
Neither do I. It never gets above 65 here. It's the Bay Area.
Well, maybe. Hey, I'm going to be out there in another month or two too. So,
oh, nice. Let's get a beer.
Yeah, I'll have to stop by because apparently, yes, beer. I've heard there's beer there somewhere.
Somewhere.
All right. Anyhow, welcome to the Cribl user group meeting. It is the last one of the year. It is going to be the best one. Yay, everybody. I think we've given everybody enough time to actually get in now. So at least if they're going to show up. Anyway, we might as well jump on in because we've got like all kinds of things going on today. First up, I hope if we can figure out the technical pieces and make it all work, is a talk. And it is Authoring Cribl Packs by James Curtis, who happens to still be on, I hope. Oh, goodness, where did he go? Oh, there he is, right there.
I am
Still there.
Still there. Excuse us for a few technical moments. We want to make him host, and I don't know what we want to do. Please excuse me. It's my first time running one where we're actually doing something other than sit around and like, you know, chat and talk and do things. So
all participants can share.
oh, good. So
Okay.
James, you can just take it away. You
I'm
got about a
ready
half
when you
hour. If you run into any problems, we'll laugh and point, but nicely.
Yeah, that's fair. All right. So I'm going to actually go ahead and just go over just a few slides, basically just showing kind of some best practices. I stole this basically from Nick Tank's, how he's getting all the basically their best practices for doing it internally, and kind of change some of the wording and stuff into how we might want to do this as a community, as opposed to some of the things that might be required internally. So let me make sure. Aha, there we go. All right, so a few things that the packs, when you're creating them, you want them to be, they have to be useful. So think about the audience and who you're making them for. Obviously, if you're creating a pack for yourself, it doesn't really matter, throw it in there and just do whatever you want. If you're eventually wanting this pack to be reused, think about who you're building it for. You're going to want to provide pipelines, sample files, lookups, and knowledge objects if they're applicable. Obviously, pipelines are always applicable. Otherwise, what's the point? You want them to be reusable. Like I said, bring value to multiple users. Include instructions, so have a README file in there. And provide details about the impact. So if this is going to break a Splunk TA later on down the line, if it's going to completely murder something else, make sure you notify the user. Some things you want to prep before you actually get started. Check out the pack dispensary, see if something already exists. If it does, contact the authors for those and say, hey, how can I help contribute to this? If it doesn't exist, you're going to want to get some information that you're going to gather. Pack ID, so you're going to name it something. All the internal Cribl packs start with Cribl, so preferably don't start it out with that. Name it some of your own naming convention. You're going to want a version number. If you're first starting out, obviously it's going to be 0.1, and then we have some guidance on versioning after that. 1 to 2 sentence description and just your first and last name if you feel comfortable including that, or a screen name if you want to remain a little more anonymous. And then a license file if this is something you want to be hand off to the Cribl guys later on and you want maybe it to end up in the pack dispensary, just throw an Apache license on there and you should be good to go. Some scope. It's best to have a single pack that handles multiple data sets for a given product. So if you've got 3, 4, 5 data sets, have one pack that handles all those data sets, like O365. You've got a myriad of different data sets in there. So just one O365 pack that handles all those data sets. Obviously not best to have one pack for each separate data set. So don't create an Outlook pack and Azure pack and 50 different packs for this one product. Just create the one pack. Each pack we talked about a little bit before should include documentation. It should include information about the data sets that are in that product and what it's currently supported and what this pack is intended for. Like I said before, it must contain a pipeline. Packs without pipelines aren't useful. Must have or should have one pipeline and one route per data set. And that's just for flexibility later on, just because I might say, hey, I want to do all this stuff with my Outlook data, and I might want to do other stuff with Azure data, and that's how I might want to do it. But when you're handing this off to somebody else and it's intended to be reused later on, they might be doing something completely different. So one route and one pipeline per data set. Comment, just anytime you see something that might be confusing, maybe you know what it is, but just throw a comment in to a pipeline or function or something like that, just so that somebody else outside of you is going to understand what's going on.
Comment function is the best function.
Exactly. If your goal is to eventually have the Cribl guys, end up putting this in the pack dispensary, try to think about supportability. So maybe not a 50-line regex thing in there, maybe split that up a little bit more. So try to.
What's wrong with regex?
Nothing. Once it gets too long, maybe.
Okay.
Maybe, yeah, just keep supportability in mind, if that's the way you want to go with it. Pack should contain samples. So just grab a sample out of the data. You should make sure that you anonymize that. So either send it through some sort of anonymization pipe and then pull out whatever internally you may have to worry about, socials, usernames, IP addresses, all sorts of fun stuff. Pipelines without sample data, just so you guys know, can't actually go into the Cribl pack dispensary. So like I said, if that's the direction you're trying to get to, pipelines without sample data can't go in. Routes should have appropriate filters. Try to avoid filtering on true unless that's the intended goal. Obviously there's a few reasons you might want to do that, but just try to avoid it unless that's something you're trying to specifically do. Each pipeline should have a corresponding route. So like we talked about earlier, one pipeline and one route for each data set. But every pipeline should have a route as well. Route filter should be as generic as possible. So while you don't want to be filter of true, don't try to filter on source type or something specific to one technology when somebody might be trying to send it to something else. So regex on _raw, or filtering in some sort of generic way that isn't specific to one technology. Each route should have a meaningful description. Final route in the pack pipeline should equal true. So the very bottom route down at the bottom should equal true, and then all that should go into dev null. Basically the default way that Cribl kind of handles stuff. And dependencies, try to avoid dependencies. So hopefully when you're building out your pack, try not to say, hey, this pack requires the syslog pack before anything will work. Try to write it or build it in a way that they can throw this pack on, it'll just work. If for some reason, if it's impossible to avoid that, make sure that you put that in your documentation. Packs with dependencies may or may not make it into the Cribl pack dispensary. I know they have specific things they're working on about dependencies, but I don't think they have that quite buttoned up yet. Lookups, any lookups that you want should be included in the pack. If it can't be included, provide some sort of instruction on how to generate it. Knowledge objects, if you have knowledge objects that you're using lookup tables or something like that, include those as well. And all packs should have a readme.md. You include a little blurb about, since we're not, as community members, maybe necessarily going to support it, include a little blurb about, hey, if you want support on this pack or whatever, feel free to contact me, or no, don't contact me. I don't want you bugging me on this. There's this cool Cribl community you can go to help and ask people generic questions there. Just as a good practice, try to include release notes. So as you version stuff up and as you kind of mature your pack, just say, hey, as of version 0.4, this is what's changed. All packs in the Cribl dispensary should have a logo. So if you're trying to go that direction, make sure you include a logo that's specific to the technology as well. As far as the publication process, version 0.1 is basically, hey, this is a very generic, I've created this pack for myself. I don't know if anybody else is going to find it useful, but hey, this is my thing. As you mature it, you're going to increase it until it gets to the point where it's 0.5, which maybe this is expanded to other use cases. Other people are starting to find this useful. It's ready for others to give feedback on and test. Must cover most of the must-haves should cover most of the must-haves to reach this stage. And things at 0.5 are unlikely to make it into the pack dispensary if you bug the Cribl guys. They're just not mature enough yet at that point. Version 1.0, basically that meets all the must-have criteria. So every single thing in those slides is checked off. Make sure you get it peer reviewed by somebody outside of your organization, somebody who's looked at it. You've received that feedback. And then at this point, if you're ready to go to the Cribl guys and say, hey, here's a thing I built. Are you guys interested in including this? You can have that conversation with them and go from there. Those are kind of just best guidelines I threw together based off what they're doing internally at Cribl, or what Nick Tank discussed that they're doing internally. But I can actually go ahead and we'll go and do a little live pack. We'll just create something based off some data in my lab. Before I do that, does anybody have any questions? Nope. All right, let me go ahead and get out of the PowerPoint.
Now comes the fun part. Let's see if the live demo works.
Exactly. All right. Which screen are you guys seeing?
We're seeing the PowerPoint.
See Cribl now?
We do.
Aha, okay. Good deal. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to recreate a pack I already created, and it's going to be a simple one just because time. So I'm going to go ahead and go into this main Cribl window. You're going to go into packs, and then we're going to click add new, and we're going to create a new pack. We're going to give it a display name. This specific pack is going to be for Schneider Electric. It's our UPSs. So we'll just name it that, give it a version of 0.0.1, and in there.
James, you have a typo in the name.
Aha, you're right.
I don't know if that helped. Start over.
Okay,
There we go.
all right. So now that we've done that, we've got a new pack. We're going to go ahead and go in here, and we're going to have to generate some packs because we don't have any. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to log in, or I'm actually going to go in here, capture new, and we're going to do maybe. Let me check and make sure I turned on my source. I didn't. Okay, that means I don't have this destination either. So we're going to do the whole thing.
Excellent.
Start to finish. This was planned. All right. I'm just going to throw my Cribl Cloud destination in here. All right, 1 second.
So if my Cribl doesn't look like this, I should be chided severely for not having updated recently enough, right?
So I am pulling off Docker containers. So you should probably just spin up Docker containers and then not worry about it.
Yeah, Docker.
I thought you meant the dark mode switch.
Yeah,
I don't
thought you
know.
were gonna go dark
Oh,
mode.
that's right. They added that.
That should be a default. I'm just going to throw that out there.
I mean, it doesn't get used enough, and like I would like it's a little buggy, but it's fine. It's fine.
You know, I long for the days 20 years ago when everything was better. You could actually like fully reskin everything. It was amazing. Even Windows had themes.
We shipped dark mode, I think, in version 1.1, and the internal feature name was fucking dark mode, because it was freaking miserable to ship this thing. But we wanted to Splunk ship to dark mode at their conf, and so we like, well, they can't have dark mode. We don't have dark mode, so we shipped it, but nobody really uses it.
Have you implemented a Smurf mode yet, though?
No, but there are a handful of Easter eggs hidden throughout the product. There are a few goats in here. I don't know if people found the goats.
I have not. I'm gonna have to start
Not
looking
found
for
any
them.
goats.
It's actually pretty easy to find. Consider registering the product.
Oh, there's that.
Okay, anyway, so back to the regularly scheduled program here. I think we're
All right, so we've got a source and a destination now. We've got our pack. And we've got a Schneider Electric GPS that should be set up to send via syslog. And first we will create pipeline over here. So this is just like creating pipelines outside of the pack. You can give it a name. Let's call this one login data. I'm going to be sending this Splunk, so I'm just going to do an eval.
right. Something simple.
Yep. Index equals GPS. I'm going to save that. And I'm going to create a route for that. Same thing over here. I'm going to drag it to the top. A name login data. So I'll just name route the same. And give it a pipeline of login data. So we're just setting the pipeline from the pack. We're going to save that. And give it. Here is our input filter. Back to our go back to our source. Syslog. Grab this. So we'll grab this input ID starts with, and then we'll go back into our pack. And back into our filter for our route and paste that in there. And we can save it. So now we've got a route and a pipeline inside our pack. And we should be able to capture the data. So we can do capture new. And put our filter in there. We start capturing. I do for 1,000 seconds because I'm crazy. Oh, getting firewall data. Yeah, that's a good surprise. I was not getting that before. So yay. That's gonna be fun.
I guess for example purposes, it doesn't precisely matter if we capture the correct data.
There you go. For example purposes, I was not expecting this in there. This is good for me, not great for the demo. We're gonna save it as a sample. We set this to 0 so it never expires, because you're gonna want it to remain in the pack, and then you're gonna anonymize this later and export it out. Go ahead and save that, and then you'll go into your pipeline, your login data, and now when you go in here to preview, you should be getting your brand new index somewhere. Because I'm not. Why are we not seeing it?
Should the value expression be in single quotes?
You're right. Yep.
And I have now solved my first Cribl problem.
There you go, debugging on the fly. It should be in there now. Nope.
Isn't it still using the old log file? Is that what's going on? The old capture file?
It's using that capture file, but it should be running it through the login data pipeline, which should be doing an eval of index to the UPS.
Yeah, because I see the Cribl pipe is set right.
Yeah, so it's going through that pipe. This is a new thing that does not normally happen.
Do you need to rerun it? Click the button.
Maybe.
Huh. Well, in any
Can
case,
you turn on the internal fields? Just to check. Gear over all
Yeah,
the
it's
way
in
to
the
the right.
gear.
Ah, gotcha.
Unlikely that input ID is preserved in your capture.
Yeah, that's what I'm wondering.
No, it's definitely not.
Yeah,
I think
there you go.
TCP in starts with syslog and syslog TCP. No, it's there. Let's see.
Oh,
well, you could set your filter to true for the example of actually creating a pack and how to deploy it, right?
Okay, not that.
Good.
Okay, well, anyway, I erased what I just said because I did not obviously solve this problem for you.
I mean, that was an issue. But yeah, this should be getting us the index at this point.
It should be. What isn't?
So we've got our route. It's using the login data pipeline. Set the final.
yeah, without even the route, just the sample file should
Right.
do its thing.
The pack sample. Yeah, click that. Let me see what. Cribl pipe, login data. Main.
Well, anyway,
Oh, there's something wrong.
so how about we just pretend that works?
Blank
Yeah,
out the
this is
fields to keep. Blank out the fields to keep just for giggles.
I mean, time is
Okay.
being modified.
Yeah.
You're getting a pipeline there. Yeah. Could probably help. Don't know if we'll be able to fix it in real time. I don't. There's.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is definitely a UX bug at a bare minimum because like it is unintuitive why this is not working.
A quick thing to check, try making a different field name out of that. Just make sure there's nothing weird
just
with
add
the
another
name
one.
index. Yeah, or add another one or something, right? Sure.
There we go.
No, it's definitely not hitting there.
Yeah. Okay.
Not sure why that's enabled.
Well, again, I think for illustration purposes, it's
Howard, so the could be a okay. I have some ideas, but we can take it offline.
Okay.
For sure.
all right.
This normally
So
works.
we'll say it's working. All right.
All right, for sure. So you've gotten a route, your pipeline, and then if you have any knowledge objects, so if you've gotten lookups, parsers, regex, grok patterns, stuff like that, you throw them in here. Obviously, for time's sake, we're not going to go through all that. But yeah, that's basically it. So once you've gotten to this point, let's say you've gotten to the point where you want to put it up on your own personal GitHub or something like that, press this little check mark next to it, and you can press export and give yourself a pack ID, something that makes sense to you. Press OK. You'll need to get a little download down there, and then you can throw that on GitHub or what have you. I'll save you from seeing my download folder that has all the stuff from Log4 Shell. But yeah, that's basically it. You can take that Cribl file and then actually let's go ahead and do it.
Well, that's awesome. That's a lot easier actually than I thought it was going to be. So kudos to the design team that actually built this in a way that it works.
Yeah, so the Schneider Electric is going to be, or the resulting Cribl file is just going to be a tarball. So you can
7-zip open.
And you can extract the files, and then you can extract them again.
It's in that folder, right? Fourth from the bottom of that group. Yep.
Yep. And then basically this is just a folder structure. You've got data, default pipeline, or data default and packages, and then this will expand out as you add in more stuff.
Cool.
Very basic. You've got your samples and data. You've got your default, and you've got your samples.yaml there, which basically says this is the description of my samples. So it'll say like the file size, stuff like that. And then your package.json, which basically just includes basic information about your package, author, display name, stuff like that. What you're going to want to do before you actually throw this up in GitHub or something, if you haven't run this through some sort of anonymization pipeline, you're going to want to go in here and clean out any data that's in there that might get you pwned.
Right, that makes sense.
But yeah, that's basically it.
All right. Well, wonderful. Yeah, that was actually a lot easier than I thought. I thought about building one of those, and one day I'm gonna, and I never had, and I was kind of intimidated, but I'm glad that it's really not that big a deal. You just go create. You have to create the pack, and then you just add all your stuff to it, and then off you go, right?
I just started putzing around with it, and then I figured, like, oh, great, this maybe helps somebody, and also maybe it helps me later. So,
right.
So they also happen to be the easiest way to move configurations around amongst environments. So as a best practice, my recommendation would be to put pretty much all of the stuff in packs. Just because, so I'm doing a cloud POV and I want to play around with some stuff. Okay, put everything in packs because that's going to be the easiest way to get the configs out and move them.
And yeah, it's even kind of a poor man's easy backup too. You can just export your packs and then you've just got them there. If anything ever happens,
Well, yeah, that's actually why I started, because I was blowing up my Docker containers, but I didn't have persistent storage yet. Actually, still have issues with persistent storage, but that's a different thing. So I just threw them all into a pack so I could get them back easy.
Right. No, that makes a lot of sense. I wish they were around when I actually started playing around with it, and I've got my 10 pipelines and junk, it's like because I could have thrown them in packs, and then that way I've just got an easy way to, at some point I might want to just wipe that and restart back over. It's all just home stuff. So, I don't care if it's missing for a few hours or whatever. But yeah, it's just convenient. So not only easy to use, but convenient as well. Checks all the boxes.
Are you in marketing?
I have to make a comment here. Gareth, the screen I have in front of me, that is perfect. I just keep looking up and you've got like this book open and it's just great that you just, it's just perfect. I'm like, who's not paying attention? Oh no, never mind.
Glad I could confuse at least one of you.
Oh yeah, it does. Every time I look at it, it confuses me. Oh, anyway. So that was all we had for the authoring Cribl packs. Many thanks to James. That was great. I apologize. I don't have any swag to give away. We talked about this last time, but all I have is like an old battery that won't fit in anything. What do you want it?
Sorry, Rich. Actually, so to clarify, so we're waiting for more swag to come in the new year. But that's not to say we are not going to do our usual raffle. James definitely would love to hook you up with some really nice swag, especially the hoodies that we have. So we'll chat separately on the Slack DM for the swag stuff. But everybody else would love to continue our tradition of raffling off swag. And Eugene, not to call you out, but my man Eugene,
I
always
have the
ready with
dice.
the dice.
You just need too many. How many sides?
Yes. So let's see here. So we have
18 people, I think. Are there more I don't see?
Some of us don't qualify.
Yeah, but you got to
Yeah,
subtract
right.
Splunk employees.
One, two. We don't work.
Well, I hosted. I don't
Hard
qualify,
math.
so don't include
One,
me in
two,
it.
Yeah, you
three,
do.
four.
You
we
qualify.
have- So we have 8 that technically qualify.
All right. 8-sided die it is.
Yep.
8-sided die.
Conveniently. All righty.
Are those, is that a real picture of goats behind you or just a background? Or do you have a green screen?
I have a green screen.
Oh, that's why it's so good around your, okay.
That is why I have a green screen, because I cannot stand the artifacting around the head.
Oh,
thing.
this
Yeah.
is really great. Hang on. I was doing this earlier. Oh, there we go. My arm disappears until I raise my other hand and suddenly it like comes back. It's just,
Yep. It's awesome.
it's so much fun to play with.
All righty. The first number is 3.
Oh, 3. Okay. All right, drum roll, please. So 3 is Sarai. Sarai, are you here?
Yeah, I'm here.
Hey, Sarai. Ooh, welcome. You are one of our lucky winners today. We're doing 2. You're one of our lucky winners for Cribl swag. So we'll
Awesome, yay.
Ooh. So we'll touch base over Slack to coordinate, your best mailing address and all that good stuff. But yeah, congratulations.
Cool, thank you.
Yeah, our pleasure. Eugene, if you don't mind doing the honors one more time.
All right. 5.
5. Ooh, John Lim, are you John? I see you, John. Hey, John.
I am here. Hello.
Hey.
Nice to have won something.
John, I remember you won something in like a past user group meeting.
Oh yeah, like almost a year probably now.
Oh,
Something like that.
dang,
Yeah.
I remember Pi had called out your name before, and then you had
Yes. Yep. I have a mug.
Nice.
I know
nice.
that for a fact.
Nice. Excellent. So John, congratulations. I'll coordinate the address and shipping and all that with you over Slack.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, my pleasure. Yeah, that pretty much concludes the swag stuff, unless we want to keep watching Eugene rolling dice, hot hands over there.
So it's happy half hour. Well, happy 21 minutes or whatever it is. I heard there were dance moves involved, but that was just a rumor. No,
I'm
no
not
dance moves.
dancing. I'm not dancing. I can't replicate. They have this GIF in the company Slack of me dancing before the all hands. I don't even know if I could replicate it if I tried.
I can look for it if you really want me to.
No, it's so bad. It's so bad. People are weird like that. No, but I'm just here to say, hey, I think we also have we have a bit of an announcement, I think, about making this a bit more regular, do we not, Rich?
What? This regular?
What? Yeah.
I think it is going to be regular, isn't it?
It is going to be regular. So yeah, so I think what we're I don't know if we're co-locating it with I don't know the specifics of the logistics of how this is coming together. But I'm working on having a regular set of office hours with me. Just because me, why not?
Oh, excellent.
So that's the woo, sort of biggish news, but just want to make sure that I'm always accessible to this community, and I'm hoping that also I can be a bit of a draw. So maybe we can get some people who want to, I'll answer any questions. I'll talk about any topic. I'll open up the floor. What do people want to talk about? Let's hang out.
I'm going to jump in. Hi, I'm Clint CA. I'm Robin. I can share some of the logistical information. Hello. So it's going to be monthly on the fourth Thursday of the month, alternating times between 1 p.m. Pacific and 9 a.m. Pacific for both EMEA and US-based team members. It is on the community calendar. I own the meeting invitation. My contact information is in there. I have a Slack alias in the community channel that you can reach out at, or my email address if you have any further questions. And I'll also be taking notes for any sort of relevant Q&A, not just banter, but if there's anything that I think, that makes sense to capture for other people if they miss the office hours with Clint, then we'll be capturing it in that doc that's available to everybody. So those are the logistic pieces. Carry on.
Thanks, Robin. And we can talk about most things. We can hint at the future. Probably we can't talk too much specific about the future. Although generally I'm happy to do that for your individual companies. If you are already a customer and you are looking for roadmap information that is available, just not in public forums where there may be deals in flight, etc. But all things are possible.
So this is your way of helping to keep your finger on the pulse of the community and some of the customers and things too, huh?
So I'll tell you one of the downsides. So the company is about 220-ish people today. It will double in size from an employee perspective next year. And as CEO of a 200+ person company, it's a very different job than it was as CEO of a 10-person company or CEO of a 50-person company. So a couple of years ago, I got to do first of all, but when we first started, I was the salesperson and the sales engineer and the marketer, and then eventually I ran the marketing team and I ran the sales team, and now we have a whole, I don't know, we probably have 100+ people in the sales organization. We have 30, 40, 50 in the marketing organization these days. So these are sizable organizations that are there, which means that a lot of my time goes to doing company stuff. So if you want to know what happens to the CEO of a 200+ person company, lawyers, HR, all the things, right? So I do all the things, and what it means is that I used to be on the phone with every customer and every opportunity, and now I don't get to do that anymore. And so part of what I've asked Robin to help me put together is it's a long way of saying yes, Rich.
Yeah, but we get the explanation, and that helps because we're all nerds and we like the reasoning behind things and why it is the way it is.
I spend my weekends playing with other people's products and our products. That's how I try to keep current with kind of what. But I'll tell you, I haven't even really done much with 3.2 as an example. It came out, I played with it. I played with it during development, but I just really haven't even had a chance to take a lot of this stuff for a spin. Although I will say that the pipeline chaining stuff is coming up on a customer call right now, because we're in a situation with a customer where they're sending the data 4 or 5 places, and we're starting to see resource consumption issues with parsing and serializing the data 3 to 4 times. Right. And so things like pipeline chaining, literally just in time, because now we can do the parsing. Normally we would have had to put it into a pre-processing pipeline and then have it come into routes, kind of already parsed. Now we don't have to do that. We can do pipeline chaining, so we can have reusable those pipelines. So it's anyway, 3.2 is a great release. I'm really excited. There's a bunch of stuff coming up in the next couple of releases that I'm also incredibly excited about. But I don't get as much time to do this stuff anymore, which is why we're setting up the office hours, so that I can ask silly questions of people and make them talk to me.
Yeah. Oh, that's a good idea. Yeah, and I think you're going to find that as you get to a 2,000 person company, that your role changes yet again, and you will no longer even know the name of your own products.
Oh yeah, maybe that. I already don't know the names of all the employees. Sorry for the people I don't know. I go to LinkedIn every week, and then it has a little box, and it's people you may know at Cribl. And I'm like, oh, okay. I
should. I really should.
I should know all these people. And then I click connect 8 times. And the first couple of times this happened, I would go into Slack, and then I would go look up to see if that person actually worked there. Because I'm like, I mean, who knows, right? Some random name, who's this person? Do they work? Nope, they work here. They all work here. Connect 8 times. every week. It's like, now it's kind of fun. It's like, oh, like, look at all these names, like all these people, they're cool people.
Right. It must be exciting.
It is exciting. Like I mean, this kind of growth is, I mean, it's crazy to keep your to wrap your head around, because it just doesn't seem like, I mean, we started the year at about, I think, 50-ish people, and we're going to end at 200 something people. So like, that's just that's a phenomenal amount of growth. And it is difficult to kind of keep your head wrapped around. In fact, I mean, the other hard part to remember is that, like, every time I go to do like an all hands meeting, most of the people are hearing me for the first time, like a significant portion, like 30%, 50% are like, that's the first time they have ever heard me. Now, the other interesting thing about this job is that, like, I'm still just like a dude, like the same PME dude that you guys knew from a decade ago or whatever else, but now I'm the CEO.
How does it feel being employee number one? I'm just curious. I've never had that feeling before.
Well,
are you the first hire? I think you are.
I was the first. So I started on March 27th of 2017. And I know that it was my kid's birthday, so it's easy to remember. It's been almost 5 years ago now. Yes, we had this debate in our Slack the other day, because I'm not actually the employer. I am an employee. I am employee number one. Because we are a C corporation, and C corporations, like, if we were an S corp or an LLC, then I would actually be the entity and the person from a legal perspective are the same. But with the C corp, with a C corp, I am not like the employer, like I happen to be an employee who happens to be the CEO. It's a legal definition thing, but yeah.
It's more fun that way.
It is.
With this rate of growth, I'm sure that's caused problems, but is there, like, suppose you guys had grown twice as fast as you had over the last year, would that have actually started to cause a problem just from too fast a growth and not enough time to figure out what everybody's even doing? I mean, would there have been a natural limit to that you'd have to go like, whoa, we got to just slow down, because not only do I not know who these people are, but HR doesn't know who these people are right now. And that's just wrong. You got to, like, slow down, back up, and make sure you're incorporating these people into the culture properly. Do you think you ever hit that? Do you think you're going to hit that? Do you think that would have happened had you doubled?
It's funny, again. It's a great question. And it was one that was actually asked by one of our board members during the last board meeting before last. And his name's Pat. He works at Sequoia. He's a really good guy. He's one of these like super silent types that, like, every time that he speaks, it's like sagely wisdom. So everybody kind of like leans forward in their chairs. Oh, Pat's talking like that. What's Pat gonna say? And so Pat said, like, are we getting bigger, or are we getting better? And so it's, suffice to say, like, growth for growth's sake, there's risk there. Part of what we did this year. Go ahead.
If I can jump in, having just gone through that, joining the company and seeing it from the outside and seeing it from the inside, like, one of the first things, during the interview process is, like, the document outlining the values and how they came about. And I was really impressed of how much effort and work has been put into making sure the company is not going just bigger and somewhere. It's like, and this is not at all my forte in terms of, like, how to think these things through, and just observing the outcome of it is very impressive.
Well, thanks. Yeah, I think yes, there's some risk there. So part of what we did, this is like into like weird company governance technical specifics, but achieving the type of growth that we're achieving from a go-to-market perspective is non-trivial. There's probably, I don't know, 50 or 100 companies in the world growing at this rate today, right? Like maybe 100, who knows? No, it's fine to be recorded. It's all good. I know I'm being recorded, so it's not confidential information. With that type of growth, we pulled forward a lot of hiring into this year that's actually next year's hiring, because what we wanted to do was to go into next year with productive employees.
Right.
And so we very intentionally said, okay, like we probably, most of these people would not have been hired in the standard plan until the following year. But we're like, okay, well, we have the money in the bank. Let's go do this big burst of hiring right now. We hired a new VP of people. They hired a whole recruiting team. Like that's function that we didn't have. Like building a company like this, you're like assembling all the shit while the plane is flying, right? That's the like kind of the standard analogy. And it is that, it does feel like that, because the okay, well, hey, we didn't need an HR department before that. Like this, okay, 30 people, 50 people, like, you know, we had like one HR person and et cetera. So like but then it's like, oh crap. Well, I mean, if we want to get to the multiple hundreds over the course of the next couple of years, well, we got to have recruiters, because like people don't just magically come work for you. You have to go source them. You have to recruit them and bring them into the fold. And so that's part of why the growth this year was so large, was because it was a very intentional, a very intentional pull forward this year to make us prepared for next year. Because what we didn't want to have happen is have growth slow, because we were unprepared for that, right? So I think that's the yeah, that's why you see, because it is big. It's big. It's like 50 to 200. Like why did you do that? It's not because necessarily we needed those people today. It's because we needed those people to be prepared for the growth that's going to come next year. Because I mean, there's a lot of stuff that we're planning. I mean, I just came out of the product offsite, you know, knowing kind of where we're going from a product perspective. Like we have incredibly big and ambitious plans.
Gareth. Sorry.
I know. I keep looking at it and I'm like, this is great. Like why have I not done this?
I'm paying attention, I promise.
We have a guy who works here. This is a pro tip for you guys on Zoom. He records people on their Zoom, and then he plays them in a loop. And so he'll come on to Zoom calls like as me or as, you know, somebody else, just to fuck with people, and it cracks me up. I fucking love that shit. Like that's why one of our values is irreverent but serious, because like I just don't want people to get
right.
That's boring, man. Like if you can't troll people, like, you know, what even is life, right? Like like, you know, like Ted Lasso, like football is like, no, man, like it's trolling. Trolling is life.
Well, there's a balance too. I mean, you have to know when to be serious and when you don't need to be. But yeah, so much of the time you don't really need to be serious. So what's wrong, right?
Yeah,
Smile, I mean, like, and go on with it.
Yeah, so we like to laugh at ourselves a bit here. I think you see it in our social, you see it in a few other places. We're gonna throw in some more Easter eggs and some more things that you're not supposed to say. You know, I don't know what those things will be yet. We'll figure it out. But like I'm not gonna let us get too serious, because serious is boring.
Serious is boring. Oh, we have chat. I don't wonder if anything interesting's happening.
Oh shit! I wasn't even looking at that one.
I know. Meetings. No.
Okay, nothing interesting. All right.
Yeah, it's all fine. Is there any other questions for Clint while we got him like captive audience here for a few more minutes?
I'm here.
If not, is there any other questions for anybody else?
Hi, just this is John from KPMG. I just wanted to give support a big shout out. I think Cribl support has really been excellent and above and beyond in terms of supporting, and really any issues that we might have. Very responsive, very fast, very skilled. So really, wanted to give that team a shout out on this call.
Well, thanks, John. I really appreciate it. And so Mick, who runs support, our customer sat figure is so high that every time I meet with them, I'm like, man, like you're so screwed. Like you have nowhere to go but down.
No comment, but it's really high right now. It's really high right now.
No, they're great. Like I think there's several sort of axioms that like, long as Clint is CEO, these things will be true. One of those is education will be free for the product, because I think it's stupid to charge for education. I don't know why companies do that. Like education should be free. Like if you're going to donate your time to my company, then it ought to be fucking free. Like that, it's so silly. Like if it's an instructor-led class and we have costs to recoup, then like, hey, if we're feeding you meals or something, we'll charge you to break even. But
Some
like
reasonable amount. Right.
But if there's an online course, like it just blows me away. Like what happens inside of companies is that like somebody ends up owning that profit center. So they're like, okay, they're the education profit person, and they like have a goal and they get compensated based off of how much education they sell. So we're just not going to allow that to start here. Like no people are allowed to charge for product education. The other thing that I'm really firm on is, I mean, I hate it when you call tech support and you get the first level moron. Like that, we're not going to employ first level morons. Like we're not going to put people on the phone whose job it is to deflect your cases and piss you off so much that you never call us again. Because I mean, like that seems to be what most technical support organizations are here to do. It's like, I know every time I call anybody's technical support and I'm looking for any support, like I have to argue with them for hours just to get on hold of anybody who actually knows anything about what they're talking about. So we're just not going to do that. We'll just hire competent people.
Yeah, no, everyone I've talked to has been very skilled. So kudos to support for that, for sure.
Well, thanks, John. I appreciate hearing about the good things. You're also free to always send me the bad things too. That's another part of what we're doing here with the office hours and why I'm out here in the community. And I think that it's a shame that Rachel isn't here because she knows how adamant I am about the community and how core I think this community is to our success. Because I mean, in most cases, as like the CEO or even just a product guy, like I used to fly around the world to get an hour with some customer, right? And here we have all these people gathering in one place who can all have really interesting, awesome conversations. We can talk about what it is that we're doing. We can explore new use cases for the product. We can have open and honest conversations where people are here to tell us what's good. Thanks, John. Appreciate the what's good. Also tell us what's bad. Tell us the things that are not working so that we can go work and improve them, because feedback is a gift. And I really, really do believe that feedback fundamentally is a gift. So if you've got things to say, if you don't feel comfortable saying it publicly, you don't necessarily have to call people out on 15-person Zoom calls. Feel free to send me a message. Feel free to send a message to anybody inside the company. We're very, very responsive. We are a customers first company. I don't know if people look at the website very often, but if you go to the About page, number one value here is customers first always, and we live by it all day, every day. And so I'm just very, very thankful that any and all of you have given us your time to be part of this community and use our product, and hopefully we're giving you some value back.
Yeah, very much appreciated. Thank you, Clint.
Yeah, thanks, John. Well, I think we're coming up on time. There's maybe time for one more question.
I think so. Sarai had one asking, is there a certification track released yet?
Coming very soon. I don't know if they want me to not release the name. So I'm not going to give you the name of the course because it may be like there may be like an announcement coming out. I don't want to like steal anybody's thunder or anything because people are like, oh, it's Clint spoiling launches. But yes, there is a course coming. I'm actually reviewing the content over the holiday break. And so I don't know, having not reviewed the content, I have no idea, whether it's like nearly ready for release or whether this, it's going to be beta and we're going to iterate a few more times. But within the next couple of months, there will be a course coming out that will have a certification attached to it. So look for that. It's coming very soon.
Oh, that's good news. I think there's a lot of people who are looking for that, just to be able to say that, A, they need a product that's got support, and B, they need people internal who have some semblance of knowledge on how to work it. And though you can get that quite well without any certifications, for a lot of businesses, having certification available and achieve them makes them think that they do have people who can do it, because they don't really trust their people to just claim they can do it, which probably makes sense in some environments too.
I hope we get thousands of Cribl certified goats.
It'll be fun. Lots of fun. All right. Well, we are coming right up against time. So in order to keep everything like in tune and make sure you can get where you need to be next, because, CEOs are busy.
I have to walk downstairs. So
it's
tough. It's tough, but somebody's got to do it. And I'm going to do it now.
Oh, so 12:23 at 1 p.m. office hours.
Yep.
Excellent.
All right. Great. I'm looking forward to seeing you guys next time.
Absolutely.
Take
See you
care.
guys later.
Thank you, Victor.
Everyone.
Thank you.
All right, bye.